Hi, Talk to Me Tuesdayers. It is still Tuesday, April the 8th. It is 11:30 at night and I'm recording this, so there's no way I'm going to finish recording this and get it posted while it's still Tuesday. But I am recording it while it's Tuesday. I apologize. I've kind of had a crazy day and I didn't know it was going to be a crazy day. I have a lot of stuff to show you guys this week. I actually wrote myself a cheat sheet so I wouldn't forget it all. Because I got my new sewing machine. Yay! I'm very excited about this. The sewing machine does so much more than my other machine did. And it does things that I didn't think I needed. Like, I mean, it has an automatic thread cutter on it. I never thought I would need an automatic thread cutter, but it is sure nice to have it. So, I mean, it has features on it and such that I never would have thought I needed, but it's turned out to be really nice to have those features as I've played with it some. Rock Islander, Marianne's biggest question, because she follows me on Instagram, and I posted a picture of the machine and everything and said I was learning her and all of this. Her biggest question was, what have I named it? Because I name all of my appliances. My last sewing machine was Veronica. This sewing machine, I think I've decided, is Sally. You know, anybody who's familiar with the Peanuts cartoons and all of that kind of for some reason reminds me of Sally from those cartoons. So I don't know why. Little bit stubborn, but in a sweet, stubborn way. Kind of tells you it's not going to do something, but it tells you that in a really sweet way that it doesn't seem like it. So there you go, Rock Islander. There you go, Marianne. Her name is Sally. But I'm going to jump right into these crafts. Probably the biggest one I'm going to show you is I did finish the diamond quilt that I did. And let me see if I can step back. There it is. So I did finish this up. I had 2 rows that I had to stitch on when my last sewing machine died. So I stitched those 2 rows on without a problem, and then I went ahead and quilted it. And I used a fun little quilt stitch that's kind of diamonds. It's kind of a little diamond pattern. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that because I'm not using sunlight. I'm having to use a lot of lamps. But it's kind of a diamond pattern. And all I did was straight line quilt around the diamonds that's already here. And you can see that a little bit better on the back. I used some backing that I had laying around in my stash. And then I bound it with just the same white fabric that I used on the front. This is where I found out that my 1/4 of an inch line is not actually a 1/4 of an inch. It's actually more, what was it? Not 3/4 of an inch, but just shy of 3/4 of an inch. No, just shy of 1/2 an inch, not 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, it's 11:30 at night. It's my bedtime. So, yeah, that's where I learned that it's actually closer to a 1/2 an inch line, not actually a 1/4 of an inch line like it says it is. So the machine comes with a 1/4 of an inch foot, and for some projects, when I'm piecing things together, I'll probably use that. But I debated a lot about whether I was going to sell this quilt, keep this quilt, give it to somebody, donate it. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I've decided I'm going to donate it the next time I donate to either the Linus Connection or Project Linus, which I donate to both of those organizations. I've decided I'm going to go ahead and donate it, in part because I don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a bad quality quilt or anything, but because I was learning the stitches and everything for the quilting on my machine, it's not to a level that I'm comfortable enough selling to somebody and saying this is my work. I think it's still a wonderful quilt that somebody is going to get a lot of love out of. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's not something that I would want to charge somebody for, I think is probably the best way of saying what I'm trying to say here. It's not something I'd want to charge somebody for because I don't feel like it's my best work ever. And so because of that, I think it's something that's going to bring somebody a lot of joy, you know? And so why not donate it, you know? And because of its size and everything, it'll make a great quilt for a very young child. So that's what I've kind of decided I'm going to do with that, is I'm going to donate that next time I do a donation of some kind. I also, the very first project that I did on my new sewing machine as an actual project, not just playing around with stitches and everything, is I actually did another baby sling. I did another ring sling. You'll have to forgive me, I didn't take a picture of it, and I've already given it to its new owner. Actually, the woman who's giving it to the new owner. But it's made out of this fabric. And I really kind of liked this fabric. But it's made out of this fabric. It's a corduroy fabric. I like to make baby slings out of corduroy fabric because it's a little bit thicker and hardier and doesn't stretch as much as some other fabrics do. So it's just a ring sling. Basically all you do with those is you hem the sides, you put the other end through I do pleats up at the top to help it go through the rings and not be bunched up in the rings. So I pleat it. Some people don't even pleat it. Some people just put the fabric through and then stitch it on from there. Another thing I am working on is I just started doing one of the commissioned projects that I have, a baby quilt that is entirely made out of Minky. Minky is the bane of my existence. I don't like to pin fabric when I sew. When I piece things together, I tend to rather eyeball it and put it together than actually pin things together. I only do pinning when I have to get a corner just right or things like that. So pinning is the bane of my existence. And you absolutely have to pin when you have Minky. There's no way around it. And you have to pin a lot when you work with Minky. So I haven't been thrilled about this quilt, but I have to do it. I mean, it's what the customer wants, so I really have to do it. So I got the fabric for it the other day. She wanted some animal prints as well as some florals. It's for her niece. And this is the start of it. It is going to be some 4 patches like this, and then it's going to be solids, and it's just going to kind of go in a diagonal of that. So I've started that, and now I'm covered in Minky fuzz. That's the other thing I don't like about Minky is the fuzz. The second you cut it, fuzz gets everywhere. So got that going, and I started that the other day. That's the other thing is you have to use a walking foot when you use Minky too. So I'm glad I've made that new 1/4 of an inch line on my machine so I know where it is. Another project I did that I think I did right after, was it right after I did? I don't remember if it was right after or right before I did the baby sling, but I made a little cosmetic bag for myself. Actually, I think this was the very first, come to think of it, this was the very first thing that I made. Basically, all it is this is some of that pull fabric, P-U-L, polyurethane, yeah. It's the waterproof fabric that people use for like diapers and such. I use it to make lunch boxes and such, cosmetic bags, things like that. So I made this little cosmetic bag. It has a nice little zipper. I did a cute little stitch on it. Let's see if I can get that without it. If I adjust the light maybe. Maybe. I don't know if you guys can see that. But the stitching I did on it is one of the decorative stitches that's on the machine. that I decided I wanted to play with and see what it did. So I mean, this is nothing really special. I mean, it's just a little boxy pouch thing. Inside of it are some other things that I made this week. This is just something for me. I mean, it's not something I'm going to sell or anything. It's just something I made for myself to kind of play with the machine. Inside it, though, I made these little guys. Basically what these are is this is just some terry cloth fabric on this side with some minky fabric on this side. The minky is left over from the owl quilt that I did a little while ago. It was the backing for the owl quilt. So that was just leftover scraps that I had laying around. The terry cloth is a towel that I got at the thrift store for 50 cents that I just chopped up. And now I have washable face scrubbies. So I made about 13 of these little guys, and they're washable. I'm just going to be able to throw them in the washing machine every week and reuse them every week, and I'm really kind of excited about these. I only have one more thing on my list, and I have to go get somebody to show you it. So somebody's a little groggy because I woke her up. She was asleep. But I needed her to be able to show you this last project. Oh, she's a little mad at me for waking her up too. Yeah, I know. How about I take it off? Hold on. I'll take it off and then I'll let you go. Here we go. Now you can go. Okay, so she was a little mad at me for waking her up apparently. But that's my cat for you. But Luna has had this for a few weeks now. I made this for her a few weeks ago and just forgot to show it. I make collars for her because the ones that you find in the stores and everything, for whatever reason, tend to take the hair off of her, and very quickly, like within a week, she has this bald spot around her neck from the collar. So I don't know if they treat them with something to keep them waterproof, because if you have pets, you know that pet collars are a little bit thicker than like some other things. I don't know if they waterproof them with something that she reacts badly to her skin. I don't know. But decided a long time ago to just make collars for her. I found online somebody was selling the little clasps and the pulls and everything for them. Real cheap. A bag of like 100 of them was like $3. I found them on Etsy selling the clasps and everything. So I decided to go ahead and buy those and just start making her collars. And so every couple of seasons or so I'll make her a collar. Well, about January, I guess it was, she broke that collar. And that's occasionally when I know it's time to make her a new one. But I hadn't had time to make her a new one. So I finally got around to it about mid-March or so, end of March, mid-March. I made her this one. And basically all I do is I take some ribbon and I back it with some twill tape. Now this is a little bit thicker twill tape than what I normally use. Normally it's about the same width as the ribbon, which is about, half an inch or so. But this twill tape was a little bit larger. And I just back them together. I've made them out of fabric before. I've just put interfacing and then folded the fabric into about a half an inch to fit through the different pieces for the collar and everything. And she tends to work with these really well. She was really mad at me though, because I think she thought she was going to get away without ever wearing a collar again because she broke her last one. But then she got stuck with this one. So that's the last thing I have to show for you guys this week. I'm going to go and find Luna again, who has run off to sleep somewhere, probably because I woke her up, and put this back on her, because the other thing about this is it has a bell on it which means I always know where she is and when she's getting in trouble. So who knows what type of trouble she's getting in right now. But I hope everybody has had very crafty weeks. I'm going to try to get caught up on some videos tonight, and I've seen a few of them already, but I'm going to try to get caught up on everybody's videos that are posted as of right now. And it is officially 12:01, so it is Wednesday. So I'm going to end this Talk to Me Tuesday because it's now Talk to Me Wednesday. Bye, guys.